I am a huge fan of Dragonbane. Running it has been some of the most fun I've had running a TTRPG ever. And playing it at GameholeCon last year just confirmed my admiration for the system. Two things which nagged at me about the game, however, were linked to the game's magic system. First, how was magic learned and passed down? In the campaign found in the box set, for example, there were scant few magic users from which characters could learn, and the spells they could teach were rather limited. Second, there were no guidelines for creating magic weapons. I mean, sure, the world of Dragonbane is low magic by default, but in the first supplement for Dragonbane, Path of Glory, it was recommended that parties have several magic weapons if they wanted to survive the campaign. I had no idea how to make them. Well, Dragonbane now has a book dedicated to all things magic. Does it address my two questions about the game? We'll find out right here on DM Tales. Let's roll it. The Book of Magic is more than an expansion of the magic chapter that's found in the core rulebook. Every spell from the core rulebook is actually included in the Book of Magic, which makes the new tome the complete volume of magic for Dragonbane. In addition, some spells have been revised and the new entry replaces the one that's found in the core rulebook. Dispel, for example, now includes additional guidance on dispelling a ritual. Instead of being an action to cast, which is the case for a spell cast in the normal manner, dispelling a ritually cast spell takes a stretch. It's a minor shift, but it gives the spell some added depth. In Dragonbane's core rules, the spells only went up to rank 3, but given the game's low magic feel, this didn't feel restrictive at all. But now that the Book of Magic is providing better insight into each school of magic, spells go all the way up to rank 5. These higher ranked spells bring some wild magical manifestations into Dragonbane, but they still have no in-game mechanical difference between them. We're going to talk about how the Book of Magic makes these ranks mean something in a bit. General Magic has had some new spells added to the list, including a way for a caster to summon one of the most recognizable tropes of magic and fantasy, a familiar. Even more fun, each school in the book is given specific guidance on how a familiar would manifest for that particular caster, and a special ability unique to familiars who are summoned from that school. Each school of magic also includes guidelines on how a character might learn a new spell under the tutelage of someone more skilled in that school than they happen to be. This is one of the brain itches that's been nagging at me since I first read Dragonbane, so I'm very excited to see this advice included. I'll speak about more on that in a bit. The Book of Magic expands Dragonbane's magic schools from its original 3 to 12. Joining animism, elementalism, and mentalism are some new traditional magic schools like demonism, illusionism, necromancy, and witchcraft. These work off tropes like many TTRPG players would expect. Memorize spells they speak and gesture into existence. These each have their own flavor and they add something to the feel of magic in Dragonbane's world. To these schools are added another 5 schools which have much different takes on being a caster. Harmonism is the closest Dragonbane has to D&D's magic-wielding bards. Their spells come from the tunes they play on their instrument, and instead of having a specific secondary skill, harmonists make a performance check to unleash their effects. Kind of interesting. Symbolism is a school of magic which requires a practitioner to carve, draw, or trace specific patterns into the air. The magic effect is triggered when the symbol is seen, which can inadvertently create some tense situations for a symbolist allies. Oops, looked in the wrong place. Spells can be carved into stone and be made permanent with the spell named Permanence, which is an awesome way to make some magical traps. Alchemy is the art of concocting potions for specific spell effects, and their spells are called recipes because of this. Recipes take a shift to prepare and require a number of magical ingredients, which may either be purchased or collected, so you can go out and do your monster collecting if you want to. It is a secondary skill like most other magical schools, and preparing a recipe or learning a new one requires an alchemy roll. Alchemists are multifunction support casters. With the right recipes, they can cure conditions, heal wounds, poison blades, or create distractions. They're pretty cool. Enchanting is the art of making mundane things like weapons magical. This school's spells are cast upon an object which retains the spell's effect for a shift unless permanence is also cast on that object. And more than one spell may be cast on an object at one time, but it does cost additional willpower points from the caster. Should an enchanter allow for a drawback, however, an additional spell may be cast without cost, or requiring a roll. There are a number of enchanted weapons listed in the enchanting chapter, which are helpful models for any GM seeking to create their own magic items. I do appreciate these. Dracomancy wields the same powers that dragons themselves can harness by their very nature, and it is without a doubt the most powerful school of magic in the game. In order to study it at all, the would-be Dracomancer must have mastered another school of magic by learning a rank 5 spell. In fact, there are no Dracomancy spells lower than rank 6. They're the only rank 6 spells in the game. Finding a teacher willing to part with their knowledge of this is almost impossible, but the boons are worth it. Dracomancers can freeze time, create objects out of thin air, and even teleport. Casting these spells is taxing, but they alter the very fabric of reality itself. As I mentioned in the opening, I had 2 questions about Dragonbane's magic system, and the Book of Magic has scratched both those brain itches in a very satisfying way. In the core book, the process by which a caster could manage to learn new spells left me wanting some more guidance. I mean, yeah, I could make it all up, but then it all would have looked generic. An animist would have passed on knowledge the same way that a mentalist or an elementalist would have done, because the only thing which differentiated the schools in the core book were the types of spells they cast. The Book of Magic, however, gives each school a distinct culture, opening up windows into the impulses for each school and how it treats those who would learn its secrets. The guidance given for how each school of magic passes on its knowledge with increasing difficulty as the ranks get more powerful gives a GM some amazing world-building opportunities, starting even with rank 1 spells. I mean, sure, money will need to change hands, but each school might have other hoops to jump through in order to learn a new rank spell. A harmonist, for example, might require a student to accompany their teacher on tour in order to be taught a new spell in that school. And if that happens, well, can a GM leave the rest of the party behind and just hand wave the characters weeks or months away with the group to learn that new spell? I mean, we could, or we could take the group on the teacher's tour and see what trouble they get into on the road. Kind of like a Dragonbane version of Entourage. The addition of this guidance specific for each school makes the spell rankings make sense. Before, because they had no mechanical impact on the game other than these spells are more difficult to learn, spell ranks felt like a holdover which existed because other systems had tiers of spells. Now the ranks are woven into the fabric of the game as role-playing triggers, and Dragonbane is more rich because of it. And because rank 5 spells are so guarded, the Book of Magic identifies each school's masters by name and what they might require from any would-be supplicant, most of which would take up an entire campaign arc to complete. It is good stuff. As I said in the opening, the Dragonbane rulebook didn't have any advice for creating magical items, and the campaign included in the box set only had a few which I could use as examples. Now, I had reverse engineered some of the spells in the rulebook using the few magic items that were in the campaign as a guide, and I managed to make a couple of magic items of my own, but it just never felt quite right. The inclusion of enchanters, however, provides me with a more thought-out concept of how magic items are created in Dragonbane. Spells from the Enchanting School offer a wonderful range of buffs to equipment PCs may use, and Supple Armor may be my favorite support spell in the list. And because the magical school's entire focus is about making enchanted weapons and items, the spell list functions as a Lego set GMs can mix and match at will. The listed drawbacks, which can be added to an enchanted weapon to reduce the number of willpower points needed to add more spells to it, are also interesting, but At the same time, I'd love to have a wider list with some more fun effects than the automatic conditions included in the enchanting chapter. So sometimes if you use it, you're automatically angry, that sort of thing. Now, granted, the magic items created by an enchanter's spells are temporary by default. They only last a shift, so forcing a condition on a character who uses them, that kind of makes sense. In my mind, though, a permanent magic item would probably be better served with drawbacks that lean more towards roleplay and long-term effects. So that's something I might work into and build on my own as I continue to learn how to GM Dragonbane well. I will say that the example weapons in the enchanting chapter are amazing starting points for any GM hoping to make their own items, and they're pretty cool to toss into a campaign in their own right if you'd like. In addition, the mechanics behind creating a permanent magic item reveals a bit about the kinds of people enchanters must be. They're so devoted to their craft that they are willing to pour a bit of their own essence into the tools they create. And that is some good NPC fodder. The Dragonbane Book of Magic is a full-sized book weighing in at 138 pages, and it uses the same excellent non-glossy paper found in the other hardbound books of the line, although it does not have a book ribbon. Its cover wrap shows off more of Dragonbane's excellent work by Johan Edgerkins. It's a necromancer commanding her skeleton minions forward against an unseen foe. The back cover shows off an enchanter riding a treasure chest and has a very nice blurb describing the contents of the book. Now, the interior design hasn't changed much from the rest of the books in Dragonbane's line. The hand-drawn drop caps, decorative elements, and font choices are all top-notch, and David Brasgala's and Johan Edgerkins' interior art blends together so well. The tome also takes a cue from the Dragonbane bestiary and includes a meta-narrative. Each chapter is introduced by a fanatical member of the Keepers of the Immaculate Flame, who spends his time condemning the very concept of magic as a demonic abomination. It is such a nice inclusion, and the afterword reveals the ultimate fate of poor brother Diedrich Orn. I won't give it away, but it's worth the read to find out. This book, it is a joy to take in. I backed this book last year and began reading it soon after it arrived, thinking that I'd pick it up and put it down as I worked my way through some other volumes. It's a book of magic. How much can I really be sucked into it? I couldn't put it down. This is an excellent addition to the Dragonbane catalog, and if you're already running the game, this is something I recommend as a pickup to expand gameplay in some excellent ways. The Dragonbane Book of Magic is available for pre-order right now at Free League's website. It's listed at $41.61 as of this recording. It fluctuates with the exchange rate. It does include a PDF. The book is scheduled for public release in August of 2026, so a couple of days from now from when I'm recording this, and a PDF version will be found on DriveThruRPG after the public release. It's not listed yet, but if the other books in the series are an indicator, it'll probably go for about $20. Go check it out. Folks, I want to thank you all for being part of the DM Tales journey. If you are interested in more of this content, I encourage you to do the whole like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you're on mobile, hype it because that does something, apparently. But also, if you'd like to give some direct support for DM Tales, you can either become a channel member here called a Coffee Contributor, or you can become a member of my Patreon, a patron of Caffeination, like these fine folks here. The links to join are on the image that you see on your screen right now, and I would be grateful to anyone who is able to offer support in that way. And if you are a member of the Patreon, you can get things like the written forms of my reviews before they go up. First draft, so there's going to be typos and errors and omissions. Just expect that sort of thing. This is raw material you're getting. My campaign diaries and adventure logs as I get done my adventures, NPCs that I've created, and templates to do things like your own NPCs and roll tables that you can handwrite on, because that's something that I am going towards. I'm trying to make the Patreon something that really adds value to those who actually are able to do it. And if you're not able to become a coffee contributor or a patron of Caffeination, really, I am grateful for just having you here watching. Thank you so much. All right. Coming up on the channel, I've got a stack of books over here. 2 stacks of books over here. Let's take a look at them. I am little over halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through Shadow West at this point. It's a really cool take on the Weird West genre, as well as Shadow Dark. I love how they included Shadow Dark's darkness mechanics in that setting. Looking forward to bringing that to the channel. I am reading that very fast now. Should be fun. Also, I have to finish this book because I got to do my conversion for the Ocean Incident for it. This is Dark Space, Shadow Dark in Space. Really fascinating conversion of Dark Space for this. And you can see my Kleenex book ribbon. I'm kind of stuck where I am because I keep getting sucked into other books because other books are interesting too. Then I have this is the Coriolis, the Great Dark GM screen because I want to run this game in person very soon. And a really cool thing, I'm going to be doing just kind of a first look on this. I might have a whole video just on first look of some certain things coming along with that because this is a review copy that I was gifted by or, given to or privileged to have from Free League. This is the Coriolis, the Great Dark box campaign set, Flowers of Aldreb. And I have opened this, I've looked at it a little bit, and it looks really cool. This might be something I really want to run people through. And I could probably do that. And let's once a month just play this and just do like 2 years or 3 years of just Coriolis the Great Dark going through this set because it's really cool. Then there is a companion book. Well, it was the same Kickstarter anyway, or backer kit, whatever the crowdfunding was. But this is Arcand, the City of, Wind or Waves and Flames. And this is an urban adventure setting for Dragonbane. Really cool lore. I've gotten about 1/3 of the way through this. Just more excellent Dragonbane stuff. So I want to bring that to the channel very, very soon. This is a system, the overall system mechanics that I have not covered on the channel very much. And I really want to rectify that because every time I read it, I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. And I desperately want to play it. So if anybody has an opportunity for me to play any version of Outgunned, please let me know because I would love to join. But this is Outgunned Superheroes. I am a sucker for a good superhero game, and Yahtzee in the TTRPG space, basically rolling doubles and triples and things like that. Really, really cool. And I've been through the PDF of this a little bit. I'm looking forward to reading the book just to see how this handles superheroes and what it's like at the table. So not only do I want to read that, I do want to run it. And superheroes are great games to do one-shots for, so we'll see how that goes. Also, you can see it has a book ribbon. Makes me always happy. This just came in the mail today. This is Rock and Roar. This is a bestiary from Inkwell Ideas, people who put out Worldographer, among other things. And this is a bestiary for Shadow Dark, this version. There's an old school Essentials version as well. And it's got a bunch of really wild, weird, and technically frightening, technically is probably the word for it. They terrified me. Beast and monsters. So I look for that pretty soon. Don't want to give too many away for that because I'm throwing these creatures into my Tales of Argosa campaign. We'll see what damage they can wreak. All right, then we got Tomb of the Ancient Moor King. This is by my friends Chet and Ron from Orange Cat Games. I did back this. I do want to bring this on the channel because it's, one of the cool things is the cover separates like old school and it's the blue interior. But I don't want to show it off too much because I want to throw this in my Tales of Argosa campaign as an adventure. So hold off on this a little bit, but you'll see it eventually after, I try to murder my players with it. Characters with it. Always a slip. And then again, another Ron and Chet special with some artwork. We got Joey Dossel, Lynn Redder. Lynn's a wonderful artist. And Chandra Ryer and Stan. This is the Adventurer's Log. Really cool. The current crowdfunding campaign is going on this. It is already printed. So you can see the 2-page spread that it is. And actually, you can add a PDF version of it. That just got announced, I think, yesterday, which I might be adding to my pledge. I did pledge for this. This is a thing that Ron gave me as a gift for going to play test a game at his game room. So I'll be giving this to one of my players, but I did back it, so that's always good. And then I got this as a gift because I loved this game growing up. And I had the original, or I think the second set, and then Top Secret SI, but this is Top Secret New World Order. One of my players actually played this at Page 2 years ago and loved it. And I've been eyeing it for a very long time. So I'm looking forward to actually reading this book and or reading the contents of this book and then getting it to the channel because the Top Secret old espionage, Do some James Bond stuff? Sure. Let's see how it goes. That should be a lot of fun. So in addition to actual live plays and interviews and all the other things that I want to get in, those are the reviews that I have coming up on the channel. I am looking forward to bringing all of this to you, and this is not even all of it because Sexy Trash Pandas is over there. Or Trash Sexy, there we go, that's the name of the game. It's sitting there over my shelf laughing at me. I see you. And so I'm going to get to that pretty soon too. This is going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of great content to bring you. I am looking forward to it. And until we see each other again, folks, happy playing, everyone.